Coming to you live and or pre-recorded, I am Sven Sandberg from the WTTT studios in beautiful Central Florida, and this is The Time Traveler with your host, Greg Angstrom. Okay, all right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, Sven, for that introduction. I want to thank you for joining us today. Welcome to The Time Traveler. So glad you could join us for our second episode. Now, I must say that I was pleasantly surprised at the response to our premiere episode that aired on Thursday. With over 100 views in the first 12 hours, my expectations were far exceeded. I was hoping for at least 10 views, as I figured I could count on my family to come through for me, at least for the first episode, but even that was no guarantee. I did notice that out of those 100 plus views, there were only 21 subscribers to my YouTube channel. There is no cost to subscribe, and maybe that covers the old adage, you get what you pay for. Nevertheless, please subscribe so that you will be notified when the next exciting episode drops for your viewing pleasure. Now, one thing I failed to address in my premiere episode is the official name of the show. You've known it as The Time Traveler, which is correct. However, the complete and official name is The Time Traveler, Random Ramblings and Mindless Musings from a prematurely retired travel consultant. I think you can see why I've shortened it to The Time Traveler. The length is one thing, but most people probably don't even know what a travel consultant is anymore. All right, Sven, before we go on, I think we need to address two housekeeping issues. First, as executive producer, you should have made sure that the complete name of the show was mentioned yesterday. Second, the issue of sponsors for our show. How you allowed this production to begin without sponsors is almost beyond comprehension. Hopefully you can tighten the cinch before I'm forced to look for a replacement. Okay, now with those unpleasant issues out of the way, on with the show. Now, my original plan was to give you some additional family history, such as I've been happily married for 44 years, our 2 kids, their spouses, and our 9 grandkids live within 16 minutes of us, and we have lived in Central Florida since 1992 with a 4-year break as we moved to Ecuador in 2014. However, due to time constraints, I will not give you that information today. We will save that for a later episode. Now, we have some big news to cover today here on The Time Traveler. Sven, can you tell me what was important about Thursday's date, July 23? Nay? Ja? Nay? Ja? Nay? Ja? Oh, sorry, folks. Sometimes Sven and I break into an intense conversation in Svenska. Swedish. Being multilingual, I sometimes get carried away. Yes, Sven, July 23 was our premiere episode of The Time Traveler, but that was not the important thing that I was asking about. Today, we are getting into the time machine and traveling back to July of 1970. To jog your memories for those around in 1970, and for those that weren't, here are some highlights from that year. The average cost of a new house was $23,450. The average income per year was $9,400, and that's about $9,400 more than I'm going to be making as a prematurely retired travel consultant. The average monthly rent for housing was $140, and the cost of a gallon of gasoline was 36 cents. Now, the only thing that 2020 has over 1970 in pricing is that a 25-inch cinema screen color TV in 1970 was $739.95. President of that time was Richard Nixon. As you may recall, he was not a crook. And also that year, Jimi Hendrix and Janis Joplin died of a drug overdose, 2 rock stars of that day. And Simon and Garfunkel released their final album together, Bridge Over Troubled Water, and that title track won the Grammy for Song of the Year that year. Some popular films of that day were MASH, Patton, Woodstock, Hello Dolly, Catch-22, and On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Also, there were a couple of tragedies, natural disasters. We had over 67,000 people killed in Peru due to an earthquake, and over 500,000 people were killed in Bangladesh due to a cyclone. All right, well, this past Thursday, marked the 50th anniversary of United Airlines' inaugural flight of the Boeing 747, affectionately known as the Queen of the Skies. The flight was from San Francisco to Honolulu and marked United's entry into the age of the jumbo jet. Now I have a few visual aids to help set the mood. Hopefully you can see these well. This is actually a picture of that Boeing 747 that United flew on that inaugural journey from San Francisco to Honolulu. And of course, very iconic look with the upper deck and that bubble above the cockpit there. Just a beautiful airplane. All right, we've got also, just for fun, for you aviation geeks out there, here's a picture of some of the different liveries. And liveries pertaining to airliners are the colors, the markings, the logos. So you can just see the changes through the years. The year that 1970, you can see that it was that third one down there, excuse me, maybe the fourth one. We have then the Friendship model from 72 to 74. We have the Rainbow livery from 74 to 93. We have the Battleship Gray, third from the bottom there, and that was from 93 to 04. We have the Rising Blue model from 04 to 2010. And in 2010, United merged with Continental, and it was called the Unicon version, and it kept the globe on the tail that Continental was known for. And a new model, a new livery coming out this year is called United Blue, and you've probably seen that already around airports as you've traveled here, thither and yon. So, if you've ever flown a 747, you know why it was always one of the favorites for any aviation buffs. Well, sadly, United's final flight of a 747 was November 7, 2017, as they, along with most airlines around the world, are sending these magnificent birds off to the airplane graveyards in California, New Mexico, and Arizona. The fuel efficiency of the Boeing 777, the 787, as well as the Airbus 350 have led to the demise of these once great aircraft. Now, my next episode will include some personal experiences that my wife and I have had on the Queen of the Skies, once to Hawaii and once to Germany, both times in the upper deck in first class. Be sure to come back for that. You don't want to miss it. Now, if you take nothing else away from today's episode, remember, I'm kind of a big deal. Ciao for now. Thank you for joining us for today's episode. Remember to subscribe, share, and like this channel. This is Sven Sandberg for The Time Traveler. Random ramblings and mindless musings from a prematurely retired travel consultant.